Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lounging with Leonie. I am your host, Leonie. Today's topic of discussion, we are talking about career development, job searching, and all workplace-related things. And
Sounds boring.
And who better to join me on the lounge than the interview and resume coach and the awesome HR guy who headhunted and hired me for my first ever full-time job. Please welcome Sam Chan.
Thank you.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Leonie.
Hi.
How are you, Cece?
Oh, so good.
Very nice to be here. And
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, proud of all your accomplishments and how far you've grown since the first time that I
That you saw me.
that I met you, that I stalked you on LinkedIn, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history. I actually have the email that you sent me
Holy
the
shit!
first
No way.
time. Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, how long ago was that? That was like 2015 or something.
Let's see. Yeah, 2015,
I remember.
November 9th. And then your subject line to me was, really dig your work. Interest in a full-time gig? And then it says, hi, Leonie. Wow, it was really refreshing to come across your LinkedIn profile and really enjoyed checking out some of the blog content. This might be a long shot as I can see you got a lot of dope things happening for you on the social media front at the moment. But we currently have a really good role, blah, 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 blah. It's a really long
That's a pretty cool reach out, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Good job, Sam.
And a lot of times when I send out these messages, I'm kind of like lying, but with your one, I was actually being real because we were trying to find someone a little bit different.
Right.
And when I came across your profile, it wasn't like your traditional kind of content creation. Sorry, what was it like? What is it? The copywriter profile. It was because we were looking for someone who did blogging and all that, and you had your own website, and I found some of your YouTube content, and I was like, hey, this girl's different.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was like, she'd had some awesome experience for us to bring in, so reached out to you, and
I was like freaking out when I got the email. I was like, what is this?
I remember. Well, I didn't know all this stuff until I saw one of the videos you made about how much that job gave you anxiety and how much it gave you like an inferior complex, and you were like, and I was like, oh shit, if I would have known, I would have just been like, man, yo, come talk to me and I can help, hopefully, you know, talk some sense. Because you were doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
You were killing it. Like Elmer.
Yeah.
Really cool dude. He was always saying that you were great and just like
a
little
lovely
shy.
boss,
but whenever you did the work, it was like killer.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the thing is, like, I didn't have a lot of experience in that kind of corporate setting.
Yeah.
And it was like straight out of university, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, and what I was looking for and what we were looking for at the time when I was talking with Elmer was more so the skill set, not necessarily, you know, how many years of experience has this person got in the corporate world, because we didn't really want a traditional corporate world because you know, sometimes corporate people can be a little bit whack.
Oh, yes.
And fraudulent.
Fraudulent.
Well, when I was younger, right, coming out of uni, like you hear people being like, you know, senior marketing managers and executives and this and that. And you're like, wow, man, these people must be so creative and they must be like doing all this stuff themselves. You see them make like commercials and all that stuff. And then I go into the corporate world and I realize that these people just come up with an idea, then enlist a whole freaking strategy house or marketing agency, and they do all the work for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and then they get paid the big money for someone else to do the work. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it was good. I actually, even though it was challenging for me, like being in that environment fresh out of university, I actually really appreciate all the learnings I got from there.
That's good.
So
yeah, that's really good. And then from there, like obviously you went and found out something that you were a bit more passionate about in terms of
yeah, well, I think I had like a bit of a career crisis after that, because I was like, I don't know if this is exactly what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah. We all have that, eh?
Yeah.
It's like I think it's a never-ending story for a lot of people in terms of I'm how old am I this year? I'm 34. I just turned 34.
34? You look so much younger, Sam.
Thank you. How old do I look? Well, I just said I was 34.
I mean, yeah, I feel like you would be my age.
What's that?
Like,
Oh, wait.
No, now we're getting. Hello.
18, right?
Oh.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, like I still don't really know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that there are some people in this world that are so lucky and fortunate to kind of know from a young age what they're truly passionate about. Because, you know, you probably heard that saying, like, you know, find something that you're passionate about and then turn it into a career. You never have to feel like you're working a day
of your life.
Of your life. And, you know, I always have that in the back of my mind. But then I also think that it creates a lot of anxiety and stress when you can't find it.
Yeah.
Which I hit that point in my early 30s, and I was just like, what do I want to do? So that's a very crazy subject, and it can be stressful.
Yeah, because you were in your previous role for like a solid decade or so, right?
Yeah, well, I've been in the kind of talent and HR space for like over 13, 14 years now. So it's a really, really long time. And I never ever thought this is what I want to do. How it all started was my first ever job that my sister helped me apply for. It was at Ticketek.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was through a recruitment agency, and I went in for an interview and, you know, had a chat with the lady, and when I left that room, I just thought to myself, is that what she does all day? And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, just talking to people and then you know, placing them in a role and just having a conversation. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can try and do that myself. And then that was at a time where I just graduated high school. Sorry, I think it wasn't just graduated. I was almost graduating, and I was looking through, deciding on what course I wanted to study at uni.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know what my interests are. I don't know what I want to do. And then from there, I looked at, okay, well, what area or what function actually has, you know, recruiting as a job, and I looked at it and it came through as HR.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, well, let me just study that and see what happens. And yeah.
So was it like something that you were like really passionate about, or was it more like
At the beginning? Or...
Yeah.
I loved it because I liked interacting with people.
Yeah.
That was something that I discovered when I was working for Ticketek, actually, because Ticketek obviously saw customer service, and I was dealing with people from all walks of life. And it taught me a lot to how to handle myself in different situations and with different personalities. So through my first job, I started as an intern at an agency. I got to kind of further build on those skills. And then I was also learning about how other parts of the world was, you know, working as well, like the operations behind the contact center, you know, the different people. And so that was kind of cool. Would I say that I am extremely passionate about it? It's not something that I feel like, you know, if I don't do it, my heart's going to bleed and, you know, I'm going to cry and be upset about it. But, you know, as I was saying before, because I don't know yet what I'm truly passionate about. I mean, I know that I do enjoy and I love understanding and learning about people's story.
Yeah.
I have this sort of saying where, like, there's always a reason why someone is the way that they are.
Yes.
And, you know, whether they're a mean person, whether they're like bossy at work, or they're, you know, a ball breaker. I always like to understand why. Yeah, and you see a lot of that in the corporate world. People just care too much, and everything that you do, they're just like, oh no, this has to be like that, and they lots of control freaks. And so for me, I get a bit of enjoyment just trying to understand why they're like that. And sometimes I with some people I just go, I don't really know, but, you know, form an assumption. So I think for me it is about learning about people and forming connections and relationships. That's something that I'm very big on, and I feel like when you have the ability to connect with people, to network, and to have a genuine interest in people, it can help take you places, and it also helps with your self development as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And just getting more comfortable in society as a whole.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, there are people out there who they don't know what they want to do, and they're also very like shy and introverted.
Yeah.
And I think that was a bit like me. Like I kind of knew what I wanted to do from an early age.
Writing or
I
content
loved
creating?
writing. I love creating things. Like I knew that was my passion.
Yeah.
And so I followed that through to like university. But then it came like the real world where you need to have some sort of like some self-esteem and confidence in order to be able to make it job-wise in that world.
Yep. Yeah.
So what would your advice be for people who are like that?
I think it's about just first and foremost not being afraid to screw up or to make mistakes, and to be gentle on yourself, especially when you're starting out, because everyone at some point in their lives, even people who are like experts in what they do, when they go and try something new, they're always going to be a rookie at it. So I think it's about like, you know, having confidence that you can do it, but then also just trying to drop the expectation that you need to be able to hit the ground running, or you need to be, you know, very good or even good at what you do. And just appreciate that, you know, making mistakes and screw ups is part of every learning process, you know?
Yeah. I think it's like going in with the mentality that you're there to learn and to grow rather than to like succeed at everything straight off the bat.
Yeah, and to not like compare yourself, like, because you know you might jump into a business and then you're like surrounded by all these people who appear to know what they're talking about, right? Seem so smart, and you develop this inferior complex. I mean, look, like I said, I've been doing what I've been doing for quite a little while now, and sometimes I'm still like, what the hell am I doing? I don't even know. I'm such a fraud. I'm interviewing someone for a role that's like $300,000 plus, and I'm just like how did I end up in this spot, you know? So so I think it's just about not being afraid, be gentle on yourself, and but also back yourself, you know, because you are, I think you are your best motivator and your biggest supporter. Like, you need to love yourself and support yourself and be like, you know what, you can do it. And even if you screw up, that's all right. You're new. I'm cool with that. You know, what did we learn from here? I've also got this sort of mantra or motto, more so, that I remind myself all the time with, and it's don't be shit. You know, it's just like very simple. Don't be shit. And it's like I apply that in everything that I do. I try and apply it to everything that I do, in terms of don't be a shit person, don't be a shit friend, don't be a shit worker, don't be a shit family member, brother, sister, all that kind of stuff. Don't be a shit partner. And it's, you know, like, it's just about, well, and it's quite a personal thing, because it's kind of like, well, what's your interpretation of being a shit person or a shit partner? Don't be that. You know? And I think it's just about, you know, applying like effort and having a bit of care in what you do. Even if you don't love your job, that's fine. Well, then do something and don't be shit, and try and do something to find something else that you like. But in the meantime, while you are there, don't be shit. Just do your work, you know, and show that you've got that care. Because again, you know, when we're talking about building relationships and networks, you never know when you might, you know, come across that person or the people that you work with again. And you don't want to burn bridges.
Exactly. Don't burn bridges, people.
Unless you know that bridge can be burnt. You're like, you know, will I ever come across this person again? And then you're just like, all right, well, no, I don't think so. But yeah, the best thing is to not burn bridges.
I'm really interested in, because you said something about like being an imposter. Like, I'm sure a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. Like, I've been at my current job for like almost 5 years, and I still like, what the fuck am I doing? It's like, how do you kind of combat that? Well, imposter syndrome.
To kind of flip that, why do you feel like an imposter? What makes you feel
like there are things that I feel like I'm good at, and those are probably like more of the creative things. But the part where I feel like an imposter is like, I think the people's perception of me, especially because I do so much on social media and stuff, is like, oh, this girl knows it all. She's confident. She's blah, blah, blah. But inside, I'm like slowly dying. I'm like, So it's like, I don't feel like I'm living up to what people's perception of me is. Really.
But what's your perception on yourself, though? like when you kind of scale it back and block out what you think people think of you, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself to be like an expert and that you actually know your
I
your
think
shit?
so. I feel like I feel like that's the perception that I give out. That's me faking it and like having a facade, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at me. I'm doing all these videos and I'm, I submitted myself for the 30 under 30 awards under like the producer category and I got like top 6 in that. But I'm like,
That's awesome.
I'm like, so like the perception of it, right? It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
she's so accomplished. She has like so many connections on LinkedIn. But really, like, to be completely honest, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. But like, is it right? I don't know.
See, and that's a perfect example of you backing yourself and just going, well, I don't, and I think, it's normal to feel like you're not good enough. And I think it's actually a good thing because you kind of, that keeps you hungry to want to be better. Because if you feel like you've already reached the top or that you're the best at something, you might get complacent.
That's true.
And then you sit back and kind of, again, you become shit.
Yeah.
And so on the whole kind of theme of don't be shit, it's about, always being a student and recognizing that you're never going to be the best at something. And I learned that through a lot through like, martial arts with jiu-jitsu. It's like no matter how big, how strong, how advanced you are, even at a black belt level, there's always somebody else that can teach you something. And it's really important to have that mentality. So, I think if you come across those situations, it's just, again, being gentle with yourself and reminding, well, look, I know stuff, and what I don't know, it's being, be honest about that as well. But it's not just going, well, I don't know it. It's then having that curious mindset to go and find out and see if you can learn it.
Yeah.
That's something that I do a lot. Like I come across stuff all the time. Like I have no idea, but people come to me because they think that I'm an expert.
Yes.
But similar to yourself, I'm just like,
yeah,
I can do that. Let me come back to you. And it's not me saying that I don't know. But if I genuinely don't know, then I'll go and speak to people that will know.
Yeah.
And find out. I get asked for statistics and reports all the time, and I'm like, well, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm like, I'll get it for you. And I'm going out and speaking to people and networking and seeing if they can share some data for me with me. So
I have a question for you. I'm seeking your advice.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me take a sip of this sparkling yogurt.
Can you sip it close?
Oh, we're doing ASMR.
I mean,
ASMR.
ASMR. Not yet, but like.
I'm gonna just do the slurp first.
Ooh.
I actually thought ASMR was the weirdest shit when it came out.
It still is kind of weird.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
So I was watching someone, snack and slurp and stuff, and I was just like, yo, this is relaxing.
Yeah, right.
I almost nodded off.
It does work.
Yeah. And my girlfriend, she's always like going, why do you like watching people eat? I'm like, just come and try it. It's some good shit.
Once you're in there, you find it out.
Yeah.
My question, I'm seeking your expertise advice.
Shit. Okay.
So like there are times when I feel like a lack of confidence in my job and I'm like self-doubting myself. Do you think it's better to keep that to myself, like the self-doubt and the worry, and talk about it with maybe like external friends about it, or be transparent with like your manager and who you're working with that, oh, I'm feeling kind of not confident at the moment?
What do you not feel confident about? Is it just in general you're lacking confidence in general? You feel deflated, or is it like a particular task? I feel like it doesn't happen to me often these days, but sometimes, there'll be like a big project coming up and I will be doubting my abilities about it, if that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have like a mentor or someone that you speak with that?
Yes, that is usually my big brother.
Oh, shout outs to the big brother.
Yeah, he is usually the person that I go to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. I think it's extra cool because he's your sibling, he's your family member, and he obviously knows you from when you were A baby.
A baby.
So knows you personally, knows you.
Anyone can get in touch with me. If they need a big brother.
That sexy ass voice.
Oh, yeah.
For an extra fee.
Look, this is just my personal view, right? And I think everyone has different ways of managing it. I think depending on the relationship you have with your manager, but at the end of the day, you kind of also want to create the impression that you can do things.
Yeah.
So it really does depend on the relationship. If you feel like you have that ability to be transparent with your manager, I think having someone outside of your project, the project, the work, or even like if it's related to this, if you feel like, maybe my big brother's too close to what we do, so I'm not going to go and talk to him. It might be good to find someone external who isn't emotionally connected to whatever you're doing.
Just to get that third perspective.
Yeah, and just to air it out, I think it's always nice to, sometimes it's not even about seeking advice from anybody, but it's just externalizing it and speaking to someone and airing out your thoughts. And like I do that a lot with my friends, and half the time after I've said, or if it's over WhatsApp or whatnot, like I've typed it up, I'm like, I think I kind of know what I need to do. So but sometimes people like to internalize it a little bit more, and they might go for a walk or a run or something, and just kind of think through themselves, and that's cool as well. So I don't think there's like one specific way that people should do something, as long as you find that thing that works for you, and that you can go back and go, okay, I feel cool now, and I feel comfortable, and I feel like I'm ready to take on this whatever task or challenge it is.
Yeah. What do you do?
I scream in a pillow.
Okay. I love it.
No, like for me, it's speaking with friends. Exercise is one thing that really helps me kind of reset my mental a lot, because it's like I physically exert my body, but then it helps with my mind to think clearer as well. So that's a big thing that I try and do. But speaking with people who know me very well, and that I value their advice, like my friends, my sister, my partner as well. Like all those things are really helpful for me.
Yeah. So work-life balance, that's a big thing then for you, having that balance between work, life, family, relationships.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? I know a lot of friends who are workaholics, and then I also know a lot of friends who are the complete opposite of that, who don't do any work and just kind of like lounge around and do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, is it important to have a work-life balance, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important. Look, I think what's important is that you're doing whatever it is that makes you happy and feel satisfied and fulfilled. I think balance is very important though. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know as well. So, for example, you got friends who are workaholic, and they might love work, and they might think, no, all I need is work. But have they tried, spending time more with their friends and family, or exercising, or starting a mukbang, or whatever, or watching ASMR videos?
Yeah.
So I think it is important to have a balance. Otherwise, you can kind of you do risk kind of trapping yourself into like a cycle. I think it's just reminding yourself as well that no matter what, especially when it comes to work, no matter what, no matter how proactive you are, how much you plan ahead, how much you try and strike off your to-do list, there's always more to do.
Yes.
And I've come to realize that probably over the last 5 years, where 'cause I used to bust my ass at work and think, this is what I need to do. And it's like, look, based on my own principles of don't be shit, I think it's important to get your stuff done. But you gotta invest time in your personal life as well, and your relationships, because at the end of the day, when everything's over and you're lying in your deathbed, are you gonna be thinking about work, or are the people that you worked with, are the companies going to miss you?
Yeah, I think especially since the COVID pandemic began, it's kind of like, shit, why is everyone still kind of stressing out about work when like everyone's dying and climate change is making like killing everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we so focused on like stressing ourselves out, getting the job done when like for these imaginary deadlines when there's like so much outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like if it's your own, if you're growing your own business and it's your own thing, that you've set yourself some goals. I mean, even if you're working for a company, you set yourself some personal goals that you want to achieve. Yeah, by all means, grind hard and get to it. So you can tick off those goals. But I think you still need to have that balance to recharge.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And people don't know they need that until they actually do it.
Exactly. You don't want to burn out.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been there so many times.
Yeah. Same. Especially, like I said, when I was younger, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to work even on weekends, log in. I was like, why? What for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think it is important to find a bit of balance. And to find something that, like you got a lot of hobbies now.
Oh my gosh.
Miss K-pop dancing. What else? Rock climbing. And
what else do I do?
I don't know. Rock climbing, dancing. What else do you do? Filmmaking.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear it from your perspective, like what you see on my social media, what I do.
Because yeah, admittedly, we don't really chat that often.
No.
Aside from when I see you posting stuff and I'm like, oh my God, look how far you've come with your dancing. Holy crap. You're like coordinated and you can, pop and lock and all that stuff.
Definitely not that far advanced.
But so yeah, that's that's how I've sort of been following your growth and journey. And I do comment from time to time saying, wow, you're so confident now.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a fraud.
Yeah, I'm always like, no, I'm just faking it, Sam. You don't know.
There's that saying that I've heard, fake it till you become it.
Oh,
not
yes.
fake it till you make it. It's like, the more, and it's kind of true, right? The more you kind of, the repetition is the master of skill. So the more you kind of do something, you just start to like, well, I'm doing it.
Yeah. But you have to do it right because you don't want to repeatedly do it wrong.
Yeah.
That's
true. Yeah, that's true. And that's where the, forever student mentality comes in, right? So Ice Cube, there's an Ice Cube lyric that I always repeat to myself as well, is you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I always say, and it's like, okay, whatever it is that I'm doing, just take a couple of steps back and think, is this the right way of doing it? Should I be, seeking an expert, or should I do some more research on it as well?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Fake it till you
become it.
Not
till you make it, till you become it.
Till
You embody
all the fakeness. I'm just so fake. It's just exuding out of me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Introverts versus extroverts. Do you think an introvert could fake being more extroverted?
This sounds like a massive cliche, but I do think and I do believe that anybody can be anything they want to be if they really want to.
Yeah.
And they apply themselves and they practice. And again, I'll use jiu-jitsu as an example when I first started. And I think you played a little bit as well and you tried.
I did a bit of jiu-jitsu, yes.
Do you remember the first time in class you were just how overwhelming everything was? You're like, oh my God, what are they doing? What does this mean? What does that mean? How did they just grab my arm and lock me up like that? I had my ass absolutely handed to me by this girl who was probably, I wouldn't say half my size because I'm pretty small myself, but she was a lot tinier and I definitely was a lot heavier than she was. And I was just like, this is the most incredible thing ever. And I think it's just about, if it is something that you want to do, it's just showing up. And again, what I said earlier about being gentle on yourself, I'm new to this. I'm not comfortable, talking to people. I'm not comfortable networking, but just try,
Yeah.
and put yourself, okay, if you shit yourself when you come across a group of 10 new people, try with one person. Maybe do it for a short period of time, or maybe jump online and start chatting to people first.
Yeah.
And then, just have little progressions.
Yeah.
To the point where, you're in front of a large group of people, or you're running your own podcast and you're forcing yourself to lead a conversation.
Help me.
I think it's possible. I think for some people it's a lot harder. to kind of break out. But you know, like even for me, I was a very shy kid, extremely shy. So shy to the point where I would not raise my hand in school, primary school that is, to like ask to go to the bathroom. I pooped my pants twice when I was little.
Little Sam.
Pooped myself twice because I was too embarrassed and too scared to ask to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And now I actively talk to people every single day. So it wasn't instant. It was a progression for me.
And now you're not afraid to ask people if you can go to the bathroom.
Well, you know, sometimes I do enjoy pooping my pants. It humbles me. You
It
know?
humbles you. Everyone needs to be humbled.
So when people tell me that I'm full of shit, I'm like, well.
Little do you know.
Yeah. No, and that was a crazy moment for me when that happened, because I remember just like, and even after I pooped my pants, I didn't tell anybody for the whole day until my mum came to pick me up. She was the only person. And I remember like my friends were like, something smells like poo around here. And I was just like,
It was him. It was him.
You know, like that's like, that's real. And I still feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's where you learn to avoid how to detect bullshit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's something, you know, people, you're always going to feel a bit of social anxiety at times, and that's okay. It's normal. I'm pretty sure people who are like public speakers, motivational speakers, I'm pretty sure they feel it too. So again, just be gentle with yourself,
Be
man.
gentle. There, Leonie.
Yeah.
Everything will be.
You know, it's cool. It's part of life, and you don't have to be on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but I think that's sometimes what people develop. They feel like they have to be on. Just like when you're with friends, sometimes people feel like, oh, the quiet the quiet space is awkward. You've got to say something. No, it's cool. It's chill.
It's good.
It's normal.
Yeah. I think we should normalize that more.
Let's stay silent for a bit.
Okay.
That's what they don't do enough in podcasts.
Yeah.
People
just
staying
silence.
silent.
Everyone, meditate. So you've been working in the people and HR space for a long time.
Yes.
What like the qualities that you look for when you hire people?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you look for?
So for me personally, obviously, you know, a little bit of experience in the type of role that we're looking for is important. But I mostly focus more on who they are as a person and how they're talking, so you know, the soft skills, and you know what their personality is like, and you know, just looking for people that aren't shit. You know, like that good personality. I always say that you can teach people experience and skill sets, but you can't. Not that you can't, but it's harder to teach somebody a personality.
That's true.
And what they need. So, so a lot of the times when I'm interviewing people, I don't really mind too much what they're saying. I mean, obviously, I'm paying attention to see whether it's relevant to the subject matter, but it's how they're saying it. So, you know, I guess to summarize, like looking for someone who is able to communicate what they do in a very succinct way. And I always pretend that I'm like a 12, 13-year-old listening to it, because I believe that if you know what you're talking about, you should be able to explain it in a non-technical manner. I definitely don't try and create like a scary environment in interviews as well. So like I'm just there to have a chat with them, and that's what I look for, the ability to connect with me, because there are people in the workplace that are a lot tougher personalities and a lot scarier than I am. So it's like, well, if you aren't able to connect with me, will you be able to connect with other stakeholders and other people as well? Yeah. So
you were the shining light when I was being interviewed. I was like, yeah, you made me so comfortable. Do you remember? Because I don't know. I think
I do recall the interview, and I actually remembered how shy you actually were, because I saw the stuff on the internet, and I definitely saw you as someone who was highly experienced and highly capable of doing what we're doing, which is really just taking a message and being able to write something creative about it. But yeah, I do remember, and I think what I forgot to realize was you were a recent graduate. at the time, But even still, considering all that, you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Did she sweat buckets?
Her hands were a little bit clammy, yeah.
I think I arrived, I do this for all of every interview. I try to arrive at least half an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So I can just sit there and
Yeah, that's the best thing to do. I always say 15 to 20 minutes, or half an hour is not bad as well. But I think half an hour, it allows you too much time to build up your nerves. So I would say 20 to 15 minutes is a sweet spot. So where it is you can settle, get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, and just kind of reset. But yeah, in interviews, I think people it's scary.
it's so fucking scary.
even though I've been doing what I do for such a long time, when I'm on the other side of the table and I'm being interviewed, it's like, oh crap, I'm scared of saying something wrong. But I always just remind myself that I'm there to talk about myself. I know what I know, and I also know what I don't know, and it's about being able to communicate that, and just being confident in talking about my abilities. And sometimes I've been asked questions that I don't know the answer to because I haven't done it, and I'll say, look, I don't have experience doing this, but that's not something that scares me because I've had experience before where I've come across a subject matter that I wasn't familiar with, but this is what I did to learn it. And I give an example of how I encountered that. So it's really just about, again, you being confident enough that you know yourself.
Yeah.
So that if anyone asks you any questions about yourself, you can say, oh yeah, I don't know that, or I do know that, and being able to explain it.
There's overselling yourself when you have absolutely no skills at all.
Yeah.
And then there's, on the other flip side, people who have so much talent and skill, but they don't know how to sell themselves. What's worse?
What's worse? I think, that's a hard one. What's worse from a company perspective, or what's worse from a...
I feel from a company's perspective, you want somebody who can actually do the job.
Yeah.
Right?
But so many companies fall for those people that oversell themselves, and they
Exactly.
realize that oh my God. And that's what I actually look out for when I'm interviewing. I've got a reasonably good bullshit detector. So if someone says, oh, I've done this, go, talk me through how you did it. Who came up with those ideas? For example, I spoke about, I don't know whether it was when the podcast actually started or beforehand, but we talked about marketers and all that kind of stuff. When we're trying to find someone who's able to actually do the creation part of it, I'll ask them things like, oh, so you came up with this campaign. What was your role in it? Who did the actual content creation and all the videos? Was it yourself, or was it an agency? So things like that. I'll try and really drill down and work out, are they actually bullshitting me that they did it themselves, or is it actually true? I think from a company perspective, if someone oversells themselves and they aren't able to deliver, that's probably worse. But I think on a personal front, if you do have the skill sets, then that's where you need to, just revise and practice and go over what it is that you actually do know and practice articulating that.
Yeah.
In front of a mirror, or turn on the camera, record yourself, or
Yes.
with your friends and family. Because I think it is important to be able to sell yourself.
Yeah. I think for me, my mentality has always been if my work is good, that speaks for itself. But then I also learned that you need to get it out there still, in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's where the connections and actually building relationships
Absolutely.
come in.
Yeah, because you can have a brilliant and dope product, but you need the marketing
Exactly.
to push it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so once you actually know your connections, and then they can see how great your work is, then they will also kind of spread the word for you.
Yeah, 100%. Look, there are those instances where the work can be enough and can get you very, very far, and we've seen that happen a lot as well. But imagine if you have that amazing product that you're already gaining awesome traction with, coupled with some extra marketing on top, how much further you can grow. So it's kind of like a difference between, reaching almost to the top of the mountain to being able to exceed and go
That's
further.
so true. You have to
know.
put in that effort.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
reach for the scars.
Reach for the skies, people.
I think I just said reach for the scars. I combine skies with stars.
The pain.
Hey, English is my second language. So
Is it actually?
yes, I grew up speaking Cantonese first.
Oh, Cantonese.
Yeah,
Teach
yeah.
me something in Cantonese.
Gong hei fat choi.
Oh.
I'm sure you know that one.
Yes.
I thought you spoke Cantonese.
I don't speak Cantonese. I can speak a little bit of Mandarin,
Oh, okay.
which Gong Si Fat, I guess is the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Ni hao ma.
yeah. Ni hao ma, and then Cantonese is ni hou ma.
Ni hou ma.
Ni hou ma.
Nei hou ma.
You should do this whole podcast in Cantonese.
Oh. Do you know how to speak Cantonese?
少少大佬.
Oh, 大哥.
I have no idea what's happening now. my podcast has been taken over. I was thinking of Asians.
Good segue.
Good segue. Asians in the workplace, especially in Western society.
Yep.
Have
Which we
you-
are in now.
Exactly. Have you ever experienced any sort of like discrimination or segregation between like Asians and, Caucasians?
Look, I've been pretty fortunate, I think, in terms of the companies I've worked in where people are pretty culturally aware. But I think within the system of society, there's a lot of, unconscious biases that happen. There's a lot of stuff that people may not actually be aware. What's that word I'm looking for? When they're actually being relatively racist without actually knowing,
Yeah.
or there's no
Meaning to be.
intent behind it.
Yeah.
For example, with myself, it's like I got promoted into a role, and I had an executive manager say to me, "Oh, look," and this is like a top dog at the company, right? It's like, "Oh, look, we'd love to like catch up and we can brainstorm a couple of things in relating to the strategy and what we want to do, and maybe we can go out for dinner. What do you want to eat? Chinese?" And I was like, I eat other things, It's like, hold on a second. Just because I'm Chinese, you assume that all I eat is Chinese. So I knew that the intent wasn't bad, but it's that kind of like again, it's not, it just rolled off his tongue.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that borderline kind of just casual
Yeah.
racism or profiling.
Yeah.
So I've seen that, and I've also encountered a very weird one time, and like, one of the managers that I worked with, awesome guy, right? Lovely to everyone. Everybody loves him. But there was this one time when he came back from an interview and was providing me with some feedback, and he's like, "Oh yeah, met this person, was great, excellent, had all the good skill set, a little bit different, like she's black." And I kind of went, "Huh?" I actually said, "Huh? What do you mean? What does that have to do with is that an issue?" And then they then started to backtrack because they probably started to realize what they said. So it's sometimes people don't mean to be discriminatory or come off as being a casual racist, but they don't really realize it.
Yeah.
And I think this push for diversity and inclusion is definitely not a bad thing because it makes people think about what they're saying. Is right before they say it, and that's when the wonderful Ice Cube's lyrics kick in. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I don't see a lot of like Asians in leadership roles. I haven't seen that personally.
why do you think that's the case?
So
That's a good point, actually.
yeah. And I'm really curious about it because for me, I have been given some leadership responsibilities lately in my role, and then I realized I don't think this is for me. But I'm really unsure why. And I feel like there's a lot of people like Asians who have grown up they're really good at their job, but when it comes to like taking leadership and being like confident and in that higher position,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think it's a cultural thing?
I feel like it could be a
Because like the way that we've been
thing.
brought up, because like the stereotypical Asian kind of culture is that we follow instructions from our elders,
Yes.
mum, dad, or grandparents,
Or a great
aunties.
leader. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, you know, yeah. So, and I guess we do kind of get conditioned to follow, and not
Lead.
not lead or think outside of the parameters of what we've been taught. And I actually find that quite common with Asian people. Not all, because I think, you know, as we're kind of developing as a people, as a human race, like everything's becoming a lot more mixed and a lot more progressive. And, you know, you are starting to see more Asians step up, you know, not just in the corporate world, but, you know, even in the whole entertainment space, right? Like there's a big push and you're starting to see, you know, Simu Liu as Avengers.
Oh my
you know?
God, so
Yeah,
good.
such a good movie.
Oh, so good.
And that was our Black Panther moment.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Right?
like, heck yeah. So that's really cool. So I think it's getting better, but I do think that there's a history within kind of our cultural system where Asians take a bit of a backseat, and we're happy to just sit back, follow, earn a salary, pay the bills, tick, get married, tick, have kids, tick, send them to school, tick, university, tick, and you know, and that's kind of like the blueprint to a successful life.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, I think we're starting to learn that that's not the case, and that there's different blueprints for different things, right?
Do you think it's different living in a Western society and being Asian than if like you were living in Asia?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, especially if like, because you know, was your family first generation migrants as well?
Yes. Yes.
So your parents?
Yes.
Were
They migrated to
migrated?
Australia.
Yeah. So same as well. I think especially for first generation, yes, because we have that awkward spot of like assimilating, you know, trying to blend in, trying to pretend that we're something that we're not for a period of time so that we're accepted. Like, you know, like, yo, I love my spam. Like, all right. So, and my mum used to make me the best spam sandwiches, but I'd be embarrassed to eat that stuff because the kids at school were eating cheese and ham. You know, ham's a bit more fancy, of course, you know. But like, and it was like, and you know, like mum would make me like fried rice or noodles, and you know, you would feel embarrassed, even though that shit's fire and bomb. And like nowadays, everybody eats it, and they're like, oh, this is the best food ever. Back then, in the 90s, like people, we were just scared to be a little bit more scared to be different and to get teased. So I definitely feel like there is a little bit of a difference, and you know, trying to adapt to what is culturally accepted in Western society. But again, that's why the whole diversity inclusion thing I think is really cool, because people are starting to realize, oh, not everything has to be done a certain way, and people are a bit more comfortable in voicing their opinions on that as well, and challenging the status quo. So yeah, but I think growing up in Asia could also be tough because the pressures are crazy.
The competition.
Man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like here we get to be a little bit more free. You know, if we don't follow that pathway, because not everybody is following that pathway, you know, we kind of go, oh, well, you know, you can try and explore other things. But in Asia, when everybody's doing the same thing, if you stick out to be different and adopt maybe a Western mentality or something, then you stand out and then you get ridiculed, you know? So, and that's the thing. I think it's hard for both.
Yes.
I know that if I was to move to Asia now and grow up there, the way that I think is vastly different to my family in Hong Kong.
I don't think if I grew up in Malaysia, where my family was from, I don't think I would be as successful there as I am in Australia.
Yeah.
Because obviously I followed the more creative path, and like my parents tried to push me to become like a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, but like that part of my brain is not there.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I could explore that in Australia.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been different if I was in
Were you born in Malaysia?
I was born in Malaysia. I came to Australia when I was like 3 months old. So I feel like I've grown up with a bit of like more of the Western Australian culture, whatever that is,
Yeah.
Australian culture.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like, I don't think my parents were very like tiger parenty, which I know a lot of Asian kids have. Were your parents?
They tried to be, but then they were also pretty cool. Like they kind of always let me, you know, they would say you have to do this, you have to do that. But then as I got older and they saw that I wasn't, you know, really following what they want to do, but then I wasn't, you know, I was coming out okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't being shit.
Yeah.
You know? They were like, oh look, you can do whatever you want. And so yeah, it got a lot better. And I think that just goes like. It's just about being able to. At the end of the day, they just want us to be happy. They just want us to be healthy, happy, be doing good. And if you can show them that you are, then they're cool.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
They're
By
cool with
driving
that.
a Mercedes.
Yeah. And
As long as we can drive a Mercedes.
yeah, and walking around with a stethoscope.
Yeah.
You're a doctor now. And then like yeah.
And your Louis Vuitton bag. And
But you know, like half the time with Asian parents, they just want to be able to brag and say, "Oh, my
Yeah,
kid's
yeah.
doing this,
Oh,
or
yeah.
I've got this." You know, it's like a bit of a, you know, who's got the shiniest stick,
Exactly.
kind of thing. But you know, once you kind of realize, well, that doesn't really mean jack. I don't really care what that auntie thinks of me. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. So, you know, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I think as long as...
Self-love, Leonie.
Exactly. Happy, healthy life. As long as we love ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other topic that we were going to discuss was women in the workforce.
Yep.
In the workplace.
Yep.
Do you see
Sorry.
a
headphones falling.
discrepancy there?
The funny thing is, I've rarely ever come across, and this is a true story, I've rarely ever come across men discriminating against women in the workplaces that I've lived in. Sorry, not lived in.
You're living at work, yeah.
At the
You need to work.
workplaces that I've worked in, and that's the honest truth. And it's always been about, look, I just want to find the best person for these roles, and of course they also recognise there is beauty and there are a lot of positive things that come with having a diverse group. You know, in terms of diverse thinking, and all that. But I have actually seen women be discriminatory towards women, especially more mature female managers having an issue with younger women because they don't want them to start work a year and a half and then start having kids. That stuff has been said to me before, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. And that shocks the crap out of me because, you know, these women, they have families of their own. So I'm just sort of thinking, wait, what if the same thing was said to you when you were in your, you know, late 20s or early 30s or however old you were when you had kids, you know? So that stuff kind of really shocked me. I'm seeing so much push in organizations everywhere to, you know, have more diversity, not just from a gender perspective, but from, you know, a culture and age and all that kind of stuff as well. And I think it's really good. And it's getting better. I don't know the landscape of every single company out there. I'm sure there are some things that do exist in terms of females, you know, maybe like not getting as much promotions as guys and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to yourself and how much you can, you know, push and control your own narrative. If there's a position that you want, you know, go for it.
Yeah.
And if they're not seeing you because of the color of your skin or your gender or whatever it is, make them see you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's the thing. Like you can't. I feel like it's hard to. Sometimes you can't always change other people's opinions, and if someone genuinely has their biases formed and it's really strong, do what you can to try and change that. Like I've had people actually say to me before, and I know I said I didn't experience it, but they're like, oh, you know, like for a Chinese person, you're actually like, you know, pretty good at writing. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know whether that's like a compliment or, but you know, he was probably trying to give me a compliment, but then it just came out in a very racist way.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter what nationality I am, I'm able to write this and That's it. So yeah, it is a very, very tough one. And why it's not a simple yes or a no is I think it's very dangerous to go into anything with a victim mentality.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not getting this job because I'm Asian,
Yeah.
or I'm not getting this job because I'm female, or whatever it is.
Don't make excuses.
Yeah. Don't go into something already with an excuse prepared that you're not going to get it, or they're not going to look at you because of something.
Yeah.
I've been hearing this more common these days. It's like, I'm not getting this job because I'm a white male.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's true, you know? Like, sorry, I won't say a blanket statement saying that's true, but it happens. And I think it's wrong personally. I do believe it is about finding the right person. Because also, say hypothetically, Leonie, if you knew that a company was hiring and you go on their website and it's like, you know, everything that you see is about gender diversity and videos are all of females. There's not a single guy in any of the content. And then you get the job, right?
Yeah.
Would you, and honestly speaking, would you feel like maybe you got the job because you were female?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I hear that from a lot of females as well.
Yeah.
And so I think when people and companies are talking about gender diversity and inclusion, you have to include everyone. It has to encompass every society out there, so that people don't join thinking, "Oh, I only got this job because
I'm this
or I'm that." But I mean, to all the females out there, I mean, if it also works in helping you get a bigger salary, by all means, make it.
Yeah, you have to back yourself. That is the that is the
Back yourself. And if you don't get the job, ask why. If you don't get the promotion or whatever, ask why. Ask for feedback, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to help you grow and better yourself.
Yeah. Ask for feedback, what you can do better. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Always be a student, man.
Always be a student.
Yeah.
You're always learning, always growing.
You
That's
are.
a good mentality
Yeah.
to have.
It's when you can't get past your own ego, thinking, oh, well, I've been doing this for 20 years of experience. How could you say no to me?
Yeah.
You know, like I get that a lot as well. It's like, well, because you were shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I obviously don't say it that way, but I'll give them constructive feedback. And I always try and make an effort to give them something they can walk away with, because that's a part of my job that I enjoy, is just like helping someone just be a little bit better if I can.
Do you have any constructive feedback for me, Sam?
I think you've come such a long way, and I think, like, I hear you say in a lot of your videos that you make, and even when I talk to you, or a few times in your podcast, you mentioned the first one that you like, you know, you always feel inferior, you don't back yourself, or that it's all an act. Well, you're doing it.
I am doing it.
And I think just zoom out a little bit, sit back and smell the roses and realize, look, you're kicking butt. You know, you're getting there. You're leveling up. You may not be at level 10 yet, but even when you hit level 10, there's still more.
Yeah.
It's endless, right? It's a constant journey, and just reflect and go, you know, shit's kind of good.
Yeah.
You know, like we all go through adversities and shit times, and you know, moments where you're like, oh crap, like everything sucks. But those moments really serve us to realize, well, how, as a reference point to see how far you're able to progress, you know? So it's, important for you to just kind of sit back and
I will
reflect.
sit back and relax
Exactly.
and reflect.
Yeah. I mean, look at the first videos of yourself dancing.
Oh, fuck. Let's not. No, but that's why I love, like, taking videos and progressing and documenting things, because sometimes you just don't know how far you've come.
Yeah.
Until you actually look back and be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I've actually progressed.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need to start documenting as well.
I think so too. I think, like, and for me, like, personally, I for a moment in time, I was like, nah, I'm not going to take no photos and videos and stuff. I just want to live in the moment, and I want to be present, right? Because, you know, we spend so much time holding our phones,
Yes.
doing this and this. But I've realized it is so, like you said, it's so important because then you can look back and you go, oh crap, I don't actually remember that.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. And also, you know, how, like, yeah, like exactly like you said, oh, I looked like this before, now I look like this because I've gotten fitter, or, you know, this is how far I've progressed, even just from a confidence perspective or whatever.
Some
it might
people
be.
just don't know until they actually see the hard evidence
Yeah.
in front of their face.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, sometimes people's way of keeping that is like a journal or a diary, but then it takes time to read through all those
That's
things.
true.
So you can just like scrolling through your old videos, like, oh, cool, you know, this is what I was like.
Yeah.
So,
What
yeah.
has been your biggest challenge in life?
Ooh.
I just like threw that at you, like punch.
There's so far in terms of the biggest challenge. I mean, I had a pretty shit year last year. That was probably one of the biggest and horrific. So I was in a really bad accident where the boat that we were in exploded. And
It was on the news.
yeah, so that was pretty intense. And yeah, that was intense because the people that I was on the boat with, they were, you know, obviously my partner was on the boat, and my friends, these are like all my brothers from primary school, so I've known these people pretty much all my life. You know, they're like family to me, and we were on the boat, and yeah, there's like 5 of us, I think, 5, 6 of us, can't remember. And 6 of us got burnt from the explosion, and 4 of us really badly. So that was pretty tough. You know, I think,
yes.
yeah, like there's nothing worse than seeing your someone that you care about, the people that you care about, and they're so fucked up, and there's nothing you can do. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. And you know, when we were speaking about just then of like keeping logs and journals, like I'm really grateful that we took so many pictures and videos while you know, everyone was in hospital and stuff, because there's a reference point. So even though like it's still challenging, I still get like little weird flashbacks sometimes and that kind of stuff, but I just sit back and I look at where things were before. Like, you know, Caroline couldn't even walk. She had to learn how to walk again and all that kind of stuff. And it's like she's chasing me now, and I annoy her, and she's able to like lift her leg to try and kick me. And yeah, then again, our lives have changed a little bit, but there's still stuff that we can reflect on and go, well, you know what? Like I'm grateful. I'm blessed. You know, none of us lost our lives when we easily could have. So
Yeah. I'm glad you're still
yeah.
alive, Sam.
Thank you. I'm glad as well. So yeah, that's challenge. And I think the second one that most people would be able to relate to is just the continuous challenge and obstacle of finding yourself, and I guess being happy, the ever pursuit of happiness, right?
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one, but it's also okay, because I think life is like a video game, right? Like there's always the big boss that you have to overcome, and once you beat that big boss, there's a next level, you know? So that's how I like to see things. And when I come across challenging times, or where I'm feeling like a bit of alarm, like, okay, I'm just at that part of the game where I need to work out how to overcome it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And I can die a couple of times, not not literally, but I can fail a couple of times, I can screw up, but then I can go back. I
Yeah.
can try again.
And then you know what you've learnt from the past experience.
Yeah.
You can like arm yourself with potions and like
Exactly. I'm gonna
more
time
weapons.
I'm gonna time that spinny thing so I don't run into it properly. I'm referencing
Exactly.
Super Mario. That was my
Super
shit.
Mario.
Yeah. On Game Boy.
That's true
So,
though. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be, and it's again just reminding yourself that it's normal, but it's what you do to bounce back from it. So, you know, it's okay to sit back and feel sorry for yourself sometimes, but just don't stay there for too long.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I feel crap. All right, well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that's cool. You don't have to know right now. Just go and do something else that distracts your brain from being depressed. Whether it be, you know, drawing or writing or climbing or dancing to BTS.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's good because it distracts your brain, and then it's almost like a form of meditation for people sometimes, right? And then they can then clear their heads again, go back, and
Exactly.
the answer will come.
And sometimes the things that you do actually will spark
Yeah.
things in you. Like for me, it was like, oh, I'm listening to BTS. I want to create stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get inspired from different things. And that's why it's
Exactly.
important to be curious. And like I was saying before, I think it's so cool and important to feel a little bit of fear and do something that scares you. Like I was in my previous job for such a long time and I felt that I was getting complacent in my personal life because I just knew how to do everything. I knew the ins and outs. I knew how to operate at a minimal level, but still do a really good job. So I'm like, I don't want that. I want to feel the fire in my belly. I want to start doing things that excite me and stuff. So
What do you want to do now?
I don't know. I'm still trying to work that out, but I've really developed a love for making congee.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was it. I always enjoyed it. Like I loved eating congee growing up. It was just like, you know, heartwarming and everything. But in particular, that was a meal that I made Caroline when she was in hospital she was in hospital for a whole month. And then after that, it was a long road for recovery and she didn't really have an appetite because of all the medication and shit that she had to take. But congee was something that she did it, and I made this shit like every 3 days.
Yeah.
So you know, I actually started some stuff with selling to like, you know, some friends and stuff and some people on Facebook. But you know, it's something that I want to explore a little bit more. So hopefully, but yeah, right now the challenge is like, well, you know, starting your own business and running with it, or but you need the money to keep things afloat.
Yeah.
So it's just that balance. But I don't know. I think I definitely want to still be interacting with people. Like I do a bit of interview coaching and resume coaching on the side as well. And I enjoy that because I enjoy helping people just overcome their fears, or their just giving them some guidance.
Yeah.
With what they do on their resumes and whatnot. And I'm like, look, I've been doing this for a long time. Why not use some of my knowledge and power for good, and make some side hustle on the side?
Yeah. What is your number one tip for when you're like writing a resume?
Keep it concise. So your resume is a piece of marketing for yourself. So make sure it is a marketing tool, especially if like, you know, like it's not hard to find a template to, you know, make it look nice. Keep it concise, but also make sure that it's got enough information that it teases the person to want to contact you.
It's all about the tease.
Yeah, it's about the tease. It's about but highlighting, because look, on the real, when people are reading through resumes, we don't read every single detail in the first glance. We kind of just look at, okay, what does this person do? Maybe what their qualifications are, where did they work, what were their job titles? We kind of skim through the key responsibilities, and if we see keywords that are relevant to the job ad or the brief that we've put out, then it might encourage us to actually look back and start reading it properly. So making sure that you are customizing your application or your resume to what you're applying for. But the amount of recruiters that I have seen apply for jobs, right, and their resume is so shit is unbelievable.
So it's not hard to stand out? If you
Make
actually-
yourself stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put in effort. Like, it shocks me because people who are in recruitment should know these things, but then they send the most horrific resumes. Or marketers giving me the most boring resumes.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're in marketing, make it flashy, go on Canva, create a design. So those are the stuff that I try and, you know, coach people about, and just make them realize, and you know, giving them that, try and help them understand the sweet spot between too much info or too little info.
Yeah.
But it really depends. I don't think there's a one-stop solution, but you know, you need to understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Market yourself.
Yeah.
Brand yourself.
It's one of the first things people see. So for you to not put an effort behind that, you're crazy.
Yeah. Do you still use LinkedIn to like find
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, I do.
So do you think it's a good idea to have a LinkedIn?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And because it's you know, where people are looking a lot of the times. And once again, it's just putting a little bit of effort, having keywords in your profile, and having a nice photo of yourself is important as well. It doesn't have to be professional. You know, I mean, look, depending on which industry you're in, obviously, but I always think, you know, try and whatever you put out there, try and make it your authentic self as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's not a stretch or a lie.
Yeah. I think my LinkedIn's awesome. So
It's good. No, it's really good.
that's how you found me in the first place.
Exactly.
That's how we know each other now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. ASMR part. I've got
Ooh.
a lot of snacks
Holy crap,
on
you
the
do.
table. Which one do you want to try?
I don't know. What do you have? What's this? Is this chicken feet?
It is chicken. You tell me what's like the most Asian thing that I can get.
Yeah, I love chicken feet, but I've never had it out of a packet.
Okay, everybody watching, this is, can you read this?
No.
Was that a racist thing to say?
I went to Chinese school for like 6-7 years, and then I can barely read because I had too many things going on.
I cried when my parents tried to send me to Chinese school.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to learn Chinese, and I regret it so much.
Me too.
So if you are young and you are Chinese and you don't know how to speak Chinese, I highly recommend.
Well, I was doing so good in Chinese school, but then I was learning Mandarin, and they did pinyin
Oh, yes.
with it. But so then my stupid ass always liked to find the shortcut of doing things. So I would like memorize the pinyin instead of the actual word. And then,
Okay.
forgot
Well,
it all.
I mean,
All right,
you're
so
doing better than me.
packaged chicken feet.
Packaged chicken feet. Are you ready? Is this not the most Chinese or Asian thing?
Yeah, that looks... Do we need someone to spit the bones in afterwards?
True.
There's
There's a piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Here is a chicken feet for you.
That's
We're
crazy.
bringing you guys a bowl.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you. Thank
thank
you.
By the way, quick one. What's your go-to congee recipe?
Chicken and ginger. Oh, shit, that's hard. Chicken and ginger is my go-to, but when I'm feeling a bit fancy, seafood with like
Oh.
oysters and
Oh,
abalone,
shit.
yo, that shit's fire.
Okay, I need to try your congee.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need a new business model.
Yeah,
Start up a congee restaurant.
I am so there.
absolutely.
I
I'll
am
let you know.
advertising this. Go to Sam's
Thank
congee. Sam's congee. All right, let's try some chicken feet. Let me
It's
tear
in
it.
this- Are we doing it next to the microphone?
I guess so.
That tear sounded awesome.
I'm actually terrified of what this
It smells very preserved.
very preserved.
I mean, it's in a packet. Yo, is there an expiration date on this? 2021.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, but you know what? Expiration dates are just...
Oh my god, it's like very. I don't know if I want to eat this.
Oh, you got to have at least the finger. Oh, that looks nasty.
Ah, why am I doing this?
I got to go for one bite. Let's listen to the crunch of the finger.
Oh. It's not like terrible, but like it's just the look.
It's not... Oh, it's a bit spicy. There's a bit of a kick to it.
Yes, a little bit. I don't want to eat the rest of that.
Oh, I got some bone, but I won't spit it out. I just
What are you gonna do with the bone?
swallowed it.
Really?
No, because it's mixed with...
Oh, because you crunched it.
It wasn't bad. It's
wasn't-
kind of like, why?
Yeah. It is like, why does this exist, right?
Yeah, in package form, like that's kind
a
of
package
nasty.
form.
I mean, I don't know. Like, would you ever want to have a chicken feet on the run? And
Oh, tissues. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Yeah, no, it was like, just put this in my pocket for later.
yeah, that's just weird.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it's a what, and also it looks gross.
Yeah. I mean, I have never get snack because I see a lot of chicken in the Asian grocery stores as well. That's like in the pack. I'm like, you got chicken wings in a freaking like preserved bag. Can't that? Isn't that
Isn't that
be
weird? Yeah.
nasty?
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
tasted. It's not bad, but I definitely wouldn't want to eat that.
This is one that you recommended.
But chicken feet at Yamcha is a must.
Oh yes, 100%.
Fungja, what are they? The phoenix claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one you suggest. Let's end with some nicer stuff.
Yes.
The Korean shrimp flavored chips.
If you guys haven't had this before, you're sleeping. It's the best prawn cracker.
Please sponsor me, Nongshim.
Yeah, send us some free chips and some
Exactly.
Shinramyeong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
welcome. So far away.
I got 2. I need to snap for the crunch.
Oh. I love how you're leaning into it. You're actually. Oh, I just spat.
Someone was saying the food tastes better when you're smacking, but I'm like, I do that sometimes to annoy my girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
But she's like, that's disgusting. I hate it too when people are smacking. You just smack for your audience. Why are you looking at me like that? With those murderous eyes. Smack one time for the audience.
How do you smack? Smack.
It's just chewing with your mouth open. Something that our parents always tell us to not do when we were younger. I got whipped with the chopstick for not
Really?
for not chewing with my mouth closed.
I mean, in some Asian cultures, it's like a good thing to like be vocal when you eat because it's showing that you like their food.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that in Japan it's the slurping of the noodles, which was again one of those things that we grew up getting taught not to do. So when I was in Japan, I was loving it. Ramen shop, and then I'm hearing like everyone just going crazy. I'm like, all right, this is what I've lived for. What's
Pokemon.
next? Cute. What's that, Bulbasaur?
It is Bulbasaur. Have you watched Pokemon?
Yeah,
Are you a Pokemon person?
I loved Pokemon when I was a kid. I mean, I'm still a kid now, but when I was younger. But I stopped when it started getting too crazy, like with too many different leagues.
Yeah.
And then they introduced more Pokemon. So
There's a lot of Bulbasaur on the package.
what flavor is it?
It's green and brown. So mint? Matcha? It's usually matcha when it's green, right?
Well, it's got a little leaf thing. I reckon it's mint. I'm gonna say choc mint.
Do you have a favorite Pokemon?
I like Charmander and Pikachu. And I loved Metapod.
The most useless, but sure.
Because it was just hilarious, Like,
Yeah.
anything they can do was hard.
Harden.
But then when you're patient, it blossoms into a beautiful...
Butterfree.
Butterfree.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
I
it's
know what
about...
you mean.
There's lessons behind it.
Patience.
Yes.
Patience and
And
growth.
something or someone might be useless for a period of time, but you never know when they might blossom into a beautiful ass Butterfree, and they can help save your life. So be nice to people who you think don't serve you right now, because you never freaking know.
I love
That
it.
kid that you bully might one day become your doctor or CEO or partner. You know what I mean? Yeah, for real, there was I remember looking at LinkedIn a little while back and came across this chick that, people used to bully in school for being overweight, and she was hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn, the amount of people that would have bullied her probably now like trying to get her
with
back.
it.
So it's like, the tables have turned. So yeah, don't be mean, guys.
I love that. Beautiful life lesson.
What's this? Okay. You go first.
Life lessons from Pokemon. Amazing.
Exactly.
I think you're right. It is minty.
How do you get a Pikachu on a bus?
You poke him on the butt, on the bum.
Damn,
you
you're
poke
pretty
him on
good.
the bum.
You
I've heard that before.
you Pokemon.
Pokemon.
You went a bit too much, right? Why did you have to go to the booty straight away? Like, geez,
I'm
Leonie.
so sorry. My mind.
Yeah, it's mint. Or actually, or is it matcha?
Matcha. It is matcha. It's like a minty matcha.
Not bad.
I like it.
Yeah.
My favorite Pokemon is Chikorita.
Is it the egg? No. Is it the egg? No.
It's not the egg.
Is it a new Pokemon?
I think it was like in the second generation.
Yeah, that's when I stopped.
Okay, I like Chikorita because she was annoying.
Damn, how old are you? Am I much older than you? I am, eh?
How old do you think I am? You never answered this question.
Well, I think I kind of know how old you are because you graduated in 2015. So you were about 18, 19 then. Right?
No, I graduated high school in 2010.
Oh, you were 21 then at 21, 22 when I met you. Now it's like 7 plus that. So what did I say you were? 21. So you're like 28, 27?
Very close.
26.
Oh, that's going too young.
29.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we kind of grew up in the same era of
Yeah.
cartoons. But you know, I don't know who Chickpea?
Chikorita.
Chikorita. I don't know who Chikorita is.
Yeah, I liked her because she was really annoying, and I felt like that represented me.
What about the old school Pokemon? Do you have a favorite out of that?
I like Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
I like my leafy, environmentally looking
Makes sense.
animals.
You're wearing a green shirt as well, and you got a tree behind you.
Yes. Well, thank you, Sam, for joining me on the lounge.
That's
Where
been a
can
pleasure.
people find you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram.
On Instagram?
SAMCHY.
Or can I hit you up on LinkedIn?
Yeah, you could as well. Yeah, on LinkedIn. So
Sam Chan. He'll give you interview and resume advice.
yes, or if you want some kanji,
Yeah.
hit me up.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank
Leonie.
you so much. Would you like another?
Sure.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Done.
Yay, that was fun. That was easy.
Yay.
Leonie, can you do
You
an
did
outro?
so well, man.
Did I? Oh,
Leonie, can you do an outro straight to the
Oh,
camera?
sorry.
Oh, can I do an outro? straight
Yeah,
to the
just you.
camera?
Yeah.
Oh, just me. Okay. What's my outro? Thank you.
You know what to do. Thank you for watching this episode. Blah, blah, blah. Until the next
Alright.
episode.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening to this episode. And when you actually tell me to do it, I'm like, fuck.
We're gonna. It's natural.
All right.
Just speak it.
Thanks for.
You gotta say thanks, Sam,
All right.
for such an amazing conversation.
Thanks.
And we look forward to having you back for the next episode.
When you bring your kanji.
Correct.
All right. Thanks. I can't do it seriously now. All right, let me just like finish this up.
Yeah. See, do something that distracts you. Take your mind away from it. Right?
Fuck.
See? You gotta apply what you've learned from this conversation.
But now that I'm actually doing it, it's so hard. All right. I don't know what happened. I've just got the bit of the giggles.
Alright, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1 and then action. I won't look at you. I'll look away.
Am I doing it to this camera? All
Correct.
right. Thanks everyone for tuning into this episode. Thank you, Sam, for joining me on the lounge, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.